you are new faces. Some of you may not know each other. We want this to be an opportunity to bring people together. In a time where oftentimes politics separates people, I believe in bringing people together. There's so many people of different ages here, different nationalities, different backgrounds. We want to bring people together. You know, I want to say as we go forward, you're going to see a lot of things in this campaign. You're going to hear a lot of things. But I want you to know how much, what really is in my heart and what I'm about. And last night, I said it for the very first time to a group that we were with. I believe in the significance of the individual. I believe that everybody matters. I believe that everyone here matters. Your hopes, your desires, your passions, it matters. I believe in the individual. Secondly, I believe in the security of our families. You know what? I know my wife Susan. She and I, we've been married 27 years and started first grade together. We've been together our whole life. We have 4 daughters: Samantha, Stephanie, Allie, and Abby. I'm surrounded by women. But the thing that Susan would tell you she wants most, she wants security, and she wants to know that everything's going to be fine. I want that. As a husband, I want that, and I want to know that our children, our 4 girls, are going to have a bright future. The security of our family is critical. You deserve that. We deserve that. And I believe the third thing will happen. And the third thing, over the significance of the individual, the security of our families, is the strongest America possible. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens when people have the promise of a better tomorrow. I hear people talk about the sky falling and how the world's coming to an end. No. No. Turn the radio off. I'm telling you. That's nuts. As I travel around this country, I am blown away by the brilliance of its people. I am blown away by the hopes we have of tomorrow. And I'm here to tell you, after 4 years of traveling and through difficult times, and these have been some difficult times, there underneath, I'm seeing an America that is ready to roar. An America that wants to be that shining city on a hill, as President Reagan talked about. We're seeing around the world, we're seeing what happens when America slips back and steps back, leads from behind. We see what happens. We've got things going on in Russia and Ukraine and the Crimea that are bad things. We see things happening in Iraq and how all the blood and treasure that we have spent. We are seeing here economic policies that are not helping our economy. We're seeing a border that, by the way, needs to immediately be sealed. Immediately be sealed. And why? Because of the second thing. You cannot have an America that is at its greatest if we are not secure. And so therefore we have to know who people are when they come here, where they are, and what they're doing. In the Congress, one of our responsibilities is to provide for the security of the American people, to make sure that we provide for the security of our families. So there's some things that we need to do. But I want you to know that on our worst day, we are the envy of the world. I'm telling you, there are a lot of people, I can't watch TV. I can't listen to the radio. Because if you do too long, you're going to try to be convinced that the sky's falling and that America no longer exists. I'm going to say that when America says America no longer exists, then it won't. But if you have children and you have grandchildren, we can't say that. We have got to work hard. And this campaign is going to be about hard work. It's going to be about taking those values and applying elbow grease, working hard, working the phones, knocking on the doors, waving the signs, doing all the things, grassroots, meeting the people. This past week we had a teletown hall meeting. We called 150,000 people in Florida District 2. Last week we did a teletown hall meeting. We spoke to 150,000 people. Okay? We are accessible. I go up to D.C. and I come back every week. Every week. Now, you got to love a district if you're willing to go to the Atlanta airport twice a week. So I love our home. I love the 14 counties. Our family's lived here 200 years. It's home. We love it. We love the people. And so I want you to know as we go forward, this is going to be a very combative campaign. Last January, Nancy Pelosi created a list, a top 10 hit list. The people that she wanted to knock off in her pursuit to once again regain the gavel and become Speaker of the House. There was one district one district on that list that was east of the Mississippi River and south of the Mason-Dixon line. And that was me. Okay? So she's coming. She's bringing money. She's got a hand-picked, recruited candidate in Gwen Graham. Let me say that again. Hand-picked, recruited candidate. I say the people of Northwest Florida pick their candidates, not Washington, D.C. You picked me. And I would say that going forward, you should always pick who you want to represent you. But we're going to be ready for them. We will be. It will be a battle. It will take hard work. But at the end of the day, I believe on the first Tuesday in November, we will drive a stake in the ground and we will say, this district believes in the significance of the individuals, the security of our families, and the strongest America possible. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the excitement, your willingness to be engaged and be a part. If we are engaged as a people, America will be okay. It is when we are complacent that America is in trouble. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you continue to enjoy our time together. This doesn't end our event, but we wanted just to speak to as many people as possible. And then I want to be very brief. But is there a question or two that some of you may have that I'd be happy to answer a question or two? I know this is not a town hall meeting, but if some of you have a question, you might be wanting to ask a question that other people are thinking about. So, is there anybody here that has a question or two? Yes, sir.
Hi, Congressman. I have a question about science funding. In recent times, there's been a lot of talk about cutting down and slashing budgets. I want to know what you think about the NSF and the NIH and funding them more, funding them less.
Well, I think you're talking about funding everything less because we've got out of control spending, and you can't kill the goose that lays the golden egg and expect more golden eggs. You just can't. And so right now, look, I'm a businessman, and I understand that you have to have resources. And so, look, the funding for the STEM programs, anything that comes out of STEM, the science, the technology, the engineering, the math, look, we've got to have those programs, okay? And as those developed into larger programs, we need those. But I know this, you can only spend money you have, all right? And when we spend money that we don't have, all right, that is taxation without representation to the next generation. And that means that we're not, look, I'll create the debt and then hand the bill to my children. That's not what America does, and that's not what anybody that's responsible does. I think that we have to get the federal government's boot off the neck of this economy. As I travel around and I meet with hardworking men and women, they want to work more. They want to create. They want investment, wants to come to this country. But we've got an administration that doesn't get it. We've got an administration that believes in an ever-growing government, okay, and damaging the hopes and the investment desires of its people. I want my children not to just have good jobs. Listen, I want them to have a passionate career that they're excited about, that they hone their skills, their talents, and their hopes. And when I find that they can find their purpose in a career opportunity, and passion always follows purpose. That's what I want. That's not a job. That's a life. That's exciting. And so I think when you're talking about the science, the technology, engineering, and the math, it's a huge problem for America because if you look at what China's doing, you look at what India's doing, they are honing in on those programs. And programs like, but we've got to have money to fund them. Let this economy roar. It's wanting to. We've got trillions of dollars of investment sitting on the sidelines, and people want to invest in this country, but not invest and then be penalized for their investment. And that's what this administration is doing. And by the way, my opponent will stand in lockstep. If elected, she will stand in lockstep with this administration and with Nancy Pelosi. I'm just telling you, don't be fooled by what you hear. Don't be fooled by what you hear. Any other questions? Keystone, build it. Built it yesterday. Look, I think the Keystone Pipeline, I think, is even, half of the president's base want that. people get it. It's common sense. American people are tired of higher energy prices, especially when you are sitting on some of the greatest resources in the world. So if you look at what's going on in this country on private lands, it's amazing. All right, we are barreling towards energy independence, and that is good for America. It's good for our economy, and it's good for our security. Okay, so if you talk about the strongest America possible and the security of our families, build the pipeline. Okay, before you do that, seal the border. Yes?
There's talk about exploring our natural gas and exporting it to Europe to combat Russia's control of Europe's natural gas. What's your position on that?
Well, look, we're blessed with natural gas. Natural gas is friendly to the environment. By the way, for Florida, there's some huge opportunities with natural gas just simply because of where those reserves are. Yeah. And so I think it's a jobs issue. I also think that when you've got natural gas and you're looking what we could do, emerging markets in Europe, I think that's important. Listen, Vladimir Putin is a very, very, very dangerous man.
He's also very smart.
He's brilliantly smart, and he's playing our president like a fiddle.
Exactly.
All right? But I'm telling you, this man is KGB. Okay, that's his background. Yeah. I believe he has a Napoleonic view of himself, and I think his desire is to reunite and control, once again, reunite the Soviet Union. Yeah. If you look at what he's done in Crimea, you look at what he's doing in Ukraine to literally create instability there, and anybody who will shoot down, okay, or have any connection with murdering. Let's just call it what it is. Murdering almost 300 people from 33,000 feet. The unrest clearly that created that clearly was started by Vladimir Putin. And so America's got to speak with clarity. America's got to be absolute. There are some really bad people in this world. You do not negotiate with that.
That was Obama's fault.
Well, let me say this.
Straight out, because he handed it to him.
Well, and one of the things that the president did, and I vehemently disagreed when he did this, first 6 months in office, he began to draw down the missile defense systems and the partnerships that we have had with Poland and Czechoslovakia. And right now, I'm telling you, I knew that was a bad move. Now it looks like a horrible move. I think we need to immediately reverse course and immediately get back to helping our allies who are begging for America to beat America. And so, and obviously sanctions that matter. Not fluff sanctions, but sanctions that matter.
One last thing on the energy. We're paying high prices here because we can't get our energy. Now we're going to ship it to Europe? That don't make sense.
No, well, we're a while from being able to ship to Europe. I will say this, one of the things that is going on here in our district that I think is positive is the wood pellets that we are seeing. You know, North and Northwest Florida is a lot of timber. And so we are taking that timber and we are sending that timber over to Europe because of the insanity that the Europeans have imposed upon themselves to require those uses of energy. It's a more expensive form of energy, but they need to buy it. They want to buy it. So look, let's profit off their bad decisions. I'm fine with that. Okay? So, General.
Steve, is Congress going to be able to fix the sequester issue relative to the military's budget and all of that impact that's going on right now?
Look, I did not vote, General, for the sequestration. I just did not feel that I'm not a cross-the-board cut kind of guy. I think if you're going to be a leader, you got to make decisions. And those are tough decisions. Cross the board is a lazy way to govern. Why do I only want to defund or to reduce a budget of a bad program by 2%? I wouldn't. If it's a bad program, let's eliminate it. And then take those precious resources and reallocate them to a program that's blowing and going and really doing what it's designed to do. My biggest problem with sequestration, especially in year 2 of the sequester, year 2 was brutal to our defense. At a time, I believe we can ill afford those damaging cuts to defense, as disproportionate as they were. Does there need to be cuts, and can there be smarter spending decisions in the DoD? Well, you've given your career to that. I'm sure that you would admit yes to that. I've seen quite a few flag officers in my time over at the Pentagon. I think there needs to be a realignment. I think perhaps there's some facilities and some bases that we need to shut down. But I do think that to have our defense disproportionately take those cuts compared to other departments is not wise. So it was adjusted in our budget to ease some of those cuts, not all of the sequester. And let me say, there are some sequester cuts that I think those cuts are better than no cuts, but not at the expense of our security. And I will not debate our security. If you don't have your security, what do you have? So, look, we're going to continue to visit with you. I wanted to talk to you before people started to leave. I know people are going down to the beach and they're mowing their yards, but I wanted to have the maximum amount of people here. Thank you so much for being a part of our team. And I see all these young faces, the children. Thank you, parents, for engaging your children. It's their future. So God bless you. Thank you so much. And let's continue to visit one-on-one.